Yo, what up guys? I'm here to do my Flo Pro 5-inch turbo back exhaust install with muffler, and the part number on that is SS671 from Flo Pro. I'm going to start by greasing up the hangers with some WD-40, disconnecting all the electrical connections, disconnecting all the bungs, and then starting at the turbo back flange at the downpipe. I'm probably going to try and loosen up those bolts and work my way back. There's one, that was nice and easy. Here's two. That's nice. Alright guys, so as you can see, I was able to get an extension up there. Maybe, I don't know if you can see that, but I was able to get a really long extension with a bunch of wobble tips and connectors and a 3/8 reducer. Okay, and of course I dropped the nut. Okay guys, this can be your best friend. It's a magnet. Cool guys. There it is. So now you can see this 3-bolt flange is disconnected and the pipe is just hanging there now. Okay guys, so this one up here is actually a 1/2 inch, and then this one up here is a 13. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do this with one hand, since I want to show you what I'm doing. Alright, so as you can see, I finally got the heat shield out. Alright, so to remove the bung from just behind the cat here, okay, that's going to be a 11/16. There we go. And then this just unplugs, I would assume. There we go. There's that bung. Alright, so now that I have the DEF injection thing and the DEF hose and the electrical connection disconnected from the injector, I have the bung out from behind the cat. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these bolts back on up here so that the pipe doesn't fall out when I cut it. Alright, so the next step here is to remove these 15mm flange bolts. I got a bunch of wobbles and all kinds of crap. We'll see if this works. Nope, not gonna work. Not enough power. Nope. Just gonna have to go ahead, use a regular breaker bar. Okay, I'm gonna try this with a regular ratchet now. Alright, so I'm just going to use the 1/2 inch ratchet here to break this thing loose. There we go. Alright. Just shake it a little bit. Look at that. Comes right apart. You can see just from shaking it came right apart, and there's some fluid in there. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's leftover DEF fluid, or not really sure. So after realizing I just don't have room, I'm just going to have to take the stupid transmission crossmember out. Alright, so I'm going to take the transmission crossmember out because I don't have enough room to cut down here with the Sawzall, and it's taking forever, so I'm just going to do what everybody says to do and take it out. So what I had to do was I had to cut up some 2x6s to make a pad to go underneath the transmission pan, and I have those on the jack right now, which you can hear I'm pulling in under the truck, so that when I take the bolts out, the transmission is supported. You put a little pressure on it, but you're not trying to lift it, so you're just trying to support it. Alright, so these two middle ones are 18s, and then these four ones on the outside are 21 millimeter. So, try it. Well, of course I need an extension. There's one. Two. Okay. I can already tell this is going to be easier than trying to cut it out. Alright, so I don't have a 21 millimeter box end wrench, so I'm just using channel locks. One. Three. And there's four. Okay, now that I have the transmission crossmember out and I have the fluid and the sensor disconnected from the DEF and the bung from behind the catalyst and these four bolts disconnected from the flange, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the one bolt I have holding the front pipe up, and then the whole thing should just drop out. There we go. Pop that out. There we go. That's a 11/16, or you can use a 17 millimeter just to break it loose. Get all these stupid hangers out with this tool. Screw it, I'm just going to cut it. Great. Wow. Piece of shit. Wow. Fucking piece of shit. Man. Really? Really? Fucker. Here's the old exhaust. Pulled the Crossmember, I was able to get this entire cap piece out, front pipe. And then I got the whole other thing out and with the DPF, but I had to cut it here because I couldn't get the tailpipe over the axle. So I had to cut it again. Anyway, start installing the new stuff. Okay, now I'm going to put the transmission Crossmember back in. Fucking kidding me? Come on, man. Alright, so now I got the little heat shield hanger thing reinstalled on the transmission, but I realized that the front pipe, the hanger goes in from the back to the front. So I don't know how I'm going to get it between here and here. I'm probably going to have to take this thing off. Alright, so when you have this bracket out, what you want to go ahead and do is install it onto the hanger on the front pipe and then put the front pipe up to the flange. Get a bolt on there to hold it, and then you can put it, reconnect this to the transmission. So I'm going to show you that right now. Got one on there to hold it up, and then I got this past the transmission. I'm going to go ahead and bolt this thing back up. Okay, the next step is to install 41252, which is the 4 to 5 inch. Just leave everything loose for right now, and then you're going to come back here and install the next section, which would be the muffler. But you have to find out if you need a extension pipe or not. And now you need to put the over the axle pipe so that you can put your muffler in and find out if you need an extension. This is part number 41156. Put the hanger into the hanger insulator. And your muffler will go here, and you'll figure out if you need an extension, then you can use this hanger or this hanger as well, which is why they provide the U-bolt. I know I'm going to need an extension. Okay, what I've done is I've put the short extension on right there, the shorter of the two they provide, along with the clamp. And I think with the muffler in place, it's going to be the right length. Although the muffler is going to be farther over this way, or the over the axle pipe. So let me go ahead and get this clamp on. And of course, this thing's dented, so I have to bend it back in. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and fit the muffler up. See if it's long enough. I'm going to go ahead and insert the over the axle pipe into the muffler and hook it up with the hanger. Sit something like that. May need the longer extension pipe. Alright, so the short piece is too short and the long piece is too long. So I gotta take this part out, take the muffler off, take the long piece out that I already have in, and then cut about 2 inches off of it and then try it again. Alright, so far I got pretty much the whole exhaust on. I just need to go ahead and set the clearances and tighten up all the clamps. As you can see, got the clamps on, got this piece cut to length. I had to take about 3 inches off total. This is a crew cab short bed, so about 3 inches off to make the muffler and everything fit. You can see back over the tailpipe over here. Then I got this clamp on, the hanger in. There's clearance above that pipe. I'm going to set the clearance by the guard for the, the plastic shield that's right there for the spare tire. Right now it's rubbing, but when I get done tightening everything and setting clearances, it should be fine. The only thing I'm concerned about clearances right now is this touching right here. So I'm going to have to figure that out, but I'm going to start with the downpipe. Push everything up as far as I can. There's plenty of clearance in the front. Push everything up as far as I can, and then just work my way back. Alright, what I have to do next before I tighten everything up is I need to make sure that this pipe isn't touching the cross member, so I'm going to jack it up with the jack, and then I'm going to go ahead and tighten up at the downpipe. You kind of want to make sure you do these evenly. Okay, so you can see I've tightened up all the bolts. It's clearing the cooler lines, the frame. This thing is on here solid. It's clearing all the way back. clearing here, clearing the cross member, and then where it was touching before was right here. So we're gonna have to check that. Okay, so the clearance here is good. And before, in that hanger there, the hanger there isn't touching. Clearance here is good. So before anything moves, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this thing up. What is up with this piece of shit socket, huh? Alright guys, before I get everything tight, I'm using a jack stand here to make sure that the tip stays level, so that when I tighten up the last two clamps, it doesn't droop down on me. Well, here's my latest problem. This 18-inch tip is too long, so I have to send it back and get a 12-inch. Look, that's as far as it'll go because the pipe bends there. The only way I could run it is if I cut it and made it a dump exhaust, which I don't want to do. I want it to side exit, so I'm just going to send it back and get a 12-inch, put it on when it gets here. Alright guys, the last thing you want to do after you get the exhaust on is you want to go ahead and zip tie all the connectors that aren't coming out of the truck. So for me, I'm leaving the DEF tank in here in case I ever have to put it back to stock. That's one less thing that I have to deal with. So those two connections up there, I'm going to zip tie together and keep them from, you know, flopping around. And I think the only other connection that stays in the truck is, let me see, this one right here. So this one is going to get zip tied probably back where it came from over here. If I can get it, it goes into this little block here. I don't even know what it is, but I'm gonna zip tie it and put it up here just because you can't even unplug this. I tried to pull it out and all these wires are connected to this thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and just zip tie them all up and load in my tunes and fire it up.